Hello, hello, Crossroads witches and other interesting magical beings. Part four, we're almost halfway through in a 9-part series on You Too Can Start a Coven, a group, a grove, whatever you want to call it, a coven, and how to do it, how to go about it. I'm Taren S. I'm a traditional folkloric Southern Conjuring Witch. I am part of a lineage tradition of probably going back into the early 1900s as the earliest documentation without trying to blow it up and go back even further on supposings. I can tell you what we got for sure in hard documentation. All right, and that was a mouthful what I said out loud, and it sounded pretty damn impressive, didn't it? Well, let's start with it. Started with one person who had an idea, one person who brought folks together, one person who wasn't about all the magic that they had inside of them, but the magic that they could bring together. That's what being in a group is about, all right? Where when we're talking about, who's in charge, who's the leader. And if you haven't watched the first 3 in this series, strongly suggest that you go back and at least watch the one on standing center, facilitating becoming a high priest or a high priestess, all right? And that, yes, you can, but it's going to take work. And getting out there every full moon, every Sabbat, every Esbat, every feast day, whatever your tradition is. And that's what we're talking about today. Your calendar, all right? And how you're gonna set it up so that it is a reflection of your dirt, your group, a reflection of your flavor, all right? Where you get to decide this, okay? And again, I'm going to always start with the first year. You've really got to set that foundation. This is not the time to bring folks together and say, hey, what do y'all think? All right? This is the time to lay stuff out on this is what we're doing. This is what we're building. This is the foundation of this tradition that you are creating. All right? Like I said, every magical tradition started with one. After, my own personal experiences, I just, 10 years ago, the House of Witchcraft, where I sort of officially hived off and said, hey, we're doing it like this. We're the House of Witchcraft, and this is our downline, all right? We do not have hierarchy within the tradition, so it is not so much, the group before us as it is this individual group. Every group has its own flavor. Every group has somebody standing center, all right? And each region is going to do things a little different. All right, what we're doing down here in the low country, you may not be doing up there in Washington State or out near Joshua Tree, where I know a couple of you witches are my desert witches. Oh, I just loved it out there. All right, if you live near a desert, please go spend full moon out in the desert. Dance under that full moon in the desert. There ain't nothing like it. It's just as good as going to the beach on a full moon, all right? Just as good as standing on a mountaintop on a full moon. Just as good as standing in that big cornfield out in the middle of the West under a full moon. That's the regionals I'm talking about and connecting to your dirt. And of course, y'all know I got notes, all right? First, we're going to start with, you need to know what your tradition is. Are you going to be based more within a neo-pagan, a Wiccan circular year? Are you more involved in the saints? Are you more involved in gods and goddesses? Is it only the equinoxes and the solstices? Are you going to do all 8 of the turn? Or do you have a couple of ones that you want? And now that you're sitting there like, oh my God, there's too many decisions, I want to give you some references. First one, if you are working within a folkloric tradition, all right? New World Witchery, Corey Hutchinson has a wonderful chapter breaking down some of the different feast days, some of the different calendars that folk witches have. It's like within our tradition, We don't do all 8 turns. We honor the equinoxes, the solstices, and then of course, you know, the balefires and Samhain, the time of life and the time of death. And for us within our tradition, this works. We also have various feast days for some goddesses in which we encourage our folks to journey with. And then on our calendar, it's just some fun. Sometimes you just gotta go plan a witch's tea, or go plan a trip in the graveyard, or go plan a trip to the beach, or back to the top of that mountain, or out to that desert. All right, you wanna change it up and have fun, okay? And I know a lot of times you're like, you know, I don't have all this space that people are thinking, you know, and I wanna let you know, I mean, your living room is just fine for a nice little group of folks, all right? Your patio, your backyard, just fine for a nice group of folks. Typically, you're only going to be bringing 4, 5, 6, 7 people together. This is not a numbers game, all right? If you are bragging about how many people you have in your group, you're on an ego trip, all right? And you other witches out there better not be joining that person's group. That's what I'm saying right there. Don't be feeding that bullshit, all right? This is about, as I said earlier, our facilitator is bringing people together and letting their magic shine. Sometimes when I'm in group and energy's going, I can almost see it. And I almost feel like one of them orchestra conductors where I'm just swirling the energy around. It's not my energy I'm swirling. It's the group's energy. They brought it up and bringing it and guiding it and making sure that everybody walks away with that tingle your toes. They felt it. That's what you're doing, stand in the center, all right? Ain't about you. So we're going to get back to, you've decided that you're going to work the 8 turns of the wheel, the 8 pagan Wiccan sabbats. Get your calendar out. Now, I'm going to tell you a little trick that I have. We do not do a calendar for the year. Within the house, we do the dark half of the year, and then we do the light half of the year. All right, and understanding the dark half is June 21st to December 21st. December 21st to June 21st is the light half. All right, these are times of movement. These are times of contemplation. That's a very broad overview. But for us, we get together like a month before the changeover to the dark half of the year. We sit down and we're like, hey, how are we vibing? Anybody interested in this? And that's the point you want to get to, all right? And it's going to take you maybe 2-3 years to get there, all right? Remember we talked about this is that commitment. You sitting there thinking that in 2, 3, 4 months you're going to have something. You ain't, all right? You're going to bust your ass that first year and a day, and you're going to get out there and hold that calendar because Goddess knows, Divinity knows, God knows, Spirit folk, your dead grandma knows is what I'm saying to you, all right? So when you write this calendar down, it don't matter if it's you standing out there by yourself. You will be out there doing what you wrote down, all right? Because that's the universe knowing that you're serious. And you know what's going to happen next? The universe is going to help. And then those couple of months, you're going to see growth, all right? But you got to get out. You got to work on faith, all right? That build it and they will come mentality. And just a little update for those that know, because I just recently moved back home, and we've got the Barn Witches group that we're starting up, okay? We started our first circle cast was in October of 2023. 2 of us were standing in that space, okay? Then we had, we were realistic with our schedules as far as what we were doing and decided, that real January and going forward for our moons and everything. And are letting folks know, that's why I'm speaking it to you. If you're in the Charleston area and would like to come join the Barn Witches, hey, send me an email. Amusing Witch, DM me. What is it, Instagram, Facebook, wherever those DM things are. All right. but we're slowly building. So Nazir and I sat down and did our calendar out for the dark half of the year. And what you want when you're looking at your calendar is about every 2-3 weeks, getting some folks that don't know what's going on really to commit to something weekly in today's hectic world is pretty hard. I'm not going to say that maybe you don't already have that group of people who are committed and y'all are like, we want to get together every week. Every Wednesday night, you know, we're going to be there. And if you have that, I'm like, I wish I had it because we don't have that here. No, but you know what I'm saying? Whatever you got, work with it is what this is really about. The people that come into your space, what are they interested in? You know? And that's how you're going to slowly build this calendar. But to begin with, you are going to make the decision on this calendar. Don't be asking anybody else's opinion. Right here. Intuition, faith, the knowledge is within. You are standing center. Spirit is going to come within and help guide you. Have that belief. Please don't ask people on Facebook what they think. All right? Now, second thing I'm going to sit here and talk about with my books. I got a little stack of books right here because we were doing, like I said, our calendar. And people ask, what do we use? The Old Farmer's Almanac. It's got some good dates and information in there. And we'll sit and breeze through it for the coming months and see if anything interesting is coming up. Tells us about the moons, if we have, you know, any super moons, blue moons, eclipses, solar eclipses, lunar eclipses. It tells us also where the stars are aligned so that we can take that into consideration. And it also tells us tides, and it has a great planting guide. And remember, good days for fishing are good days for prosperity work. Think about it. All right, this is one we use. This is one a witch gave me, and I'm really enjoying it. I like this book. It's The Witch's Almanac, and which we got for 2024. And again, we went through it and looked. We only looked at the dark half of the year, 6 months in advance. We don't look at the other stuff. And then another book that I got was The Witch's Date Book. Like, they have all sorts of stuff out there. But I'll tell you my favorite one that I am using this year, because I do have a Google Calendar, but I like to have a little hard copy so that I can open it up and look. And I am so vibing on this perfect little book. It's just got a couple of little articles, and then it's got places for you to put your information. Some of the other calendars I didn't care for because I felt like it had a lot of articles in it, which were really good, but I just need a date book. Y'all know what I'm saying, all right? But I like this one. It is working really well for our group. You may find another one. You may only want to use your Google Calendar. You may want to use a whiteboard. Whatever is your way, all right? Do not try to take up someone else's methodologies. Instead, be inspired by them and create your own witch and other interesting magical beings out there. Because I know who y'all are. I done talked to some of you. And you're talented. You're bright. We need you. Do you need me to say it again? We need you. This community needs people who are willing to step up. Yes, it is scary. It is scary as hell. I know the first couple of years I walked around with some major imposter syndrome of who left me in charge. I don't think I'm the most qualified one in the room. And I realized, yeah, I am. Yes, I am. All right? My spirit, the goddess, the spirit realm folk, whatever phraseology y'all want to use, it's all in here. And I can use it. And that's what you have to tap into, all right? Now, that was a little rant that got us off, I know, but I felt like it needed to be said. So, you're going to sit down with your schedule book, whatever schedule book you choose to use. New moons, how do you feel about them? Dark moons, how do you feel about them? Full moons, how do you feel about them? See where I'm going? And I'll tell you one thing we do here at the house, to give you an idea. We don't do every full moon, all right? We look at our calendars, we look at the way things are lining up, we look at where the Sabbat is, you know, our equinoxes, our solstices, our Sabbats within our tradition, and sort of move things around, like I was saying, so that we're getting together approximately, you know, every 2, 3, 4 weeks, just depending on our schedules, okay? Don't be rigid. Mother Nature isn't. Neither should you, all right? Really look at the coming year. Look at what the universe has given us. Look where the different equinoxes are falling. Is an equinox falling on a full moon? All right, and if that's happening, or a solstice is on a full moon, or whatever, but it's where these events are coinciding. Do you want to combine them together? Do you want to do, you know, full moon on a summer equinox? Ooh, that sounds great, by the way. Could you imagine the energies? Oh, honey, that would be some good dancing music right there. I could just, oh, yes. All right, off subject, sorry. Look at the calendar of that year, okay? Witchcraft, no matter your tradition, is not static. It is like Mother Nature. It is constantly in movement. And you gotta lean into that movement. Allow it. You can plan for carefully planned, spontaneous fun if you're an OCD people. All right? Allow yourself those moments of whatever happens. I've talked about rituals that we've sat here created, you know, and we would spend, you know, maybe 1 or 2 meetings together. And then when we get together for whatever we're doing, it ain't working. So we just throw the paper out and get out and do what feels right in that moment. Give yourself that flexibility. Do not get rigid and this is how, and this is, you know, like again, Mother Nature isn't that way. The universe isn't. The universe always surprises us. So make sure you are surprising people periodically too. So now, well, I got off subject again. So this is a rambling bit of the video. Y'all get to listen to me talk about it. But we will look at it and see where it's lining up and see how we're feeling. Sometimes we do new moon energies where it's very much a new moon ritual. Other times we're working that dark moon, all right? Where we're wanting to have that neutral, that in-between, you know, liminal moon phase type energies. And so we use the dark moon. Other times we do a full moon. We will do blessed moon waters under all of these moons. And also, please make sure you tell your folks, moon water is only good for the phase the moon is created in. Full moon to full moon. Next full moon, put it on your plants. Next new moon, put it on your plants. Next dark moon, put it on your plants, you know. I love it when I go, or somebody tells me, I have this new moon water from 2017. And I'm like, ew, yuck. It's stagnant, it's old, it's got microbes growing in it. Yuck, yuck, ooh. Doesn't even sound appealing to me. I don't know, I just got some trigger on just water sitting there growing stuff. I don't know what it is. This is about you creating a foundation. Like I said, I keep going, be rigid, create this foundation, you're in charge. Be flexible. Allow things to happen. Yeah, that's part of it. You got to walk that in between. You got to find that third path. All right? Both can happen at the same time. I know I've been doing it for years now. All right? You know, I currently manage, like I said, we've got a group here that's starting out, and I already have several other covens off of the House of Witchcraft. And yeah, we're typically... we are an organized, chaotic, unorganized group. We are organized. And then you get to sometimes we're unorganized. And that's okay. All right? Allow yourself to have this. All right? And also there is no such thing as perfection. All right? And the right way to do it is the way that resonates with you. This is back to, you have to really seek counsel within yourself. You have to seek counsel within divinity. You have to seek counsel within spirit realm. Not Facebook. No good advice comes on Facebook. Nothing good comes on Facebook. So you have set your calendar up now, and you may decide that you want to set it up for, how many ever months in advance. I recommend 6 months. It gives people a chance of the calendar. You've wrote it down. It's official. Now get out and do it. That's the big deal. All right? Folks can sit on that front porch and that rocking chair solving all the problems in the world. But to really make a difference, you got to get off the porch. You got to go do it. And like I said earlier, you are sitting here watching this video till the end. All right? We're, I don't know how many minutes. Let's see. 20 some minutes into it. You're looking, you're wanting to lean in to facilitating, to standing center, to starting the journey of a high priest, a high priestess. All right? Believe in yourself. And I know it's hard. I know. All right? And the best advice I can give right now is look in that mirror and remember that Taren believes in you. All right? Got me a little teary-eyed. I put up some emotion in that. Woo, I felt it. Because it's true. All right? I believe in you. I know you can create an amazing sacred space. You can cast a circle. You can open a crossroads. You can create the compass. Whatever's your way, you can do it. Now get out there and do it, witch. And with that said, you know what I'm going to say. Have a bright, sparkly day. Get out there and fly that damn broom. And as always, amen, blessed be, ashe, and a popo. And on the back end, if you're the last couple of folks watching this video, because I'm like, maybe a couple, but y'all, we're doing a really good book club. You please come every Thursday, all right, 8 o'clock. We typically open up the room about 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's a virtual space. You don't have to turn on your camera, but please come and participate. We would love to have you. This is a community event. There's no sign up. I ain't trying to sell you shit, okay? Y'all done heard me tell. I don't do services. I don't do other things for folks. If you want to support me, support my channel. If you really like me, buy my books. And if you think I'm extra freaking special, leave me a review on Amazon. All right? Because the system's rigged and you got to get reviews without going down that deep rabbit hole of conspiracies. All right. I'm going to let that end, and I'm going to go sit out here on the porch and listen to the rain and drink my coffee. Bye, witches.